Putin's big nuclear message amid the Iran war. Russia is ready to take Iran's enriched uranium and store it on its soil. Is Moscow once again going to become Tehran's new nuclear guarantor? Could Iran's enriched uranium soon be in Russian hands again? Is Putin's reminder that he can repeat the 2015 uranium removal a direct warning that any future deal will run through Moscow, not Washington?
We didn't just suggest that. We did that once in 2015, and Iran trusting us fully and doing this for a reason, because we had never broken any agreements.
A new headache for Trump as Iran's ally tables a shock nuclear proposal. If Russia takes charge of Iran's uranium, will it hand Moscow and Tehran a powerful new bargaining chip against the US? Russian President Vladimir Putin said Moscow is ready to transport and store Iran's enriched uranium, offering Russia as a host for the material outside Iran. Putin made the remarks at a news conference in Moscow on May 9th, while commenting on possible steps to de-escalate the standoff over Iran's nuclear program. He recalled that Russia had transported enriched uranium out of Iran in 2015 under the nuclear deal framework and said Moscow can repeat this experience if all sides agree. According to Putin, all parties to the conflict had earlier agreed in principle that enriched uranium should be moved out of Iran as part of a broader settlement. He also claimed that the United States then demanded that the uranium be transported exclusively to American territory, changing the original understanding. Putin said Iran hardened its position on any uranium transfer after these U.S. demands, suggesting Washington's shift contributed to Tehran's tougher stance.
Mr. President, I would like to go back to the topic of the situation in the Persian Gulf. One of the conditions that the United States is insisting upon is withdrawing the enriched uranium from Iran, and Russia suggested to become the country that could help with that, but the United States refuses to do that, and Iran would like to preserve the uranium. In this situation, what could be the outcome?
Let me share a couple of secrets with you. Those are relative secrets, but still, we didn't just suggest that. We did that once in 2015, and Iran trusting us fully and doing this for a reason, because we had never broken any agreements, and we still continue the peaceful Iranian program in Iran. We completed the construction of Bushehr, which is working. We continue our peaceful efforts there. And our cooperation in peaceful atom is not susceptible to the current situation, is not affected by the current situation. We did that back in 2015, and it was the foundation for signing a treaty among all the interested countries and Iran. So it played a very positive role. So we have this experience, and I said that once again that we are ready to repeat just that. And that's the secret, that initially everybody agreed to that. Representatives of the United States agreed, Iran agreed, and Israel agreed as well. But after that, sometime later, the United States tightened its position and required that the uranium be taken only to the U.S. territory. And then Mr. Larijani, now deceased, I'm very sorry about that, because he was a very constructive person who knew how to listen. So Mr. Larijani said back then that Iran changed its stance again and that it will not take its Iran anywhere. And they came up with a new format of cooperation, establishing a joint venture headquartered in Iran to process uranium together. And we said that we don't mind, we can do that, if that de-escalates the situation. But I think nobody is going to agree to that. Neither the US nor the Israel. And so the situation came to a dead end, frankly speaking. But our offers are still on the table. And I think our offer is good. Because if everybody agrees to it, Iran will be confident that its uranium is in the hands of a friendly country that has cooperated and will continue to cooperate with Iran on peaceful atom. And Iran doesn't have any goals of weaponizing uranium. There's a fatwa in Iran about that, and there haven't been any proof of Iran wanting to have nuclear weapons. And I think other parties to this also could be interested in that. That could be beneficial to all the parties, because first we could see how much uranium there is and where it is. It could all be under the control of IAEA. And the work to dilute this uranium could be organized under the supervision of IAEA. It could be secure. And we don't need anything out of that. Not just we just want to make a contribution. We just want to make our contribution to the situation. And we will support any solution that will take the situation out of the dead end and will allow it to move towards a peaceful settlement. I think compromises are possible here.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov held a telephone conversation with his UAE counterpart on May 8 amid concerns over renewed instability in the region. During the call, Lavrov told the UAE that efforts should focus on supporting the ongoing US-Iran talks, according to the Russian Foreign Ministry. The prospects for stabilization must not be jeopardized by a resumption of hostilities, Lavrov said, underscoring Moscow's push to prevent a fresh regional escalation. Russian Foreign Ministry statement said, and I quote, "The discussion focused on the situation around the Strait of Hormuz, including deliberations on this issue at the UN. The Russian side emphasized the need to concentrate on supporting the ongoing negotiation efforts between Iran and the US. Moscow reaffirmed its position that the prospects for stabilization must not be jeopardized by a resumption of hostilities which would cause civilian casualties and damage civilian infrastructure both in Iran and in neighboring Arab countries." The foreign ministers agreed to remain in contact and work towards aligning the approaches of all parties involved in the search for a long-term, sustainable settlement. Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan congratulated Sergei Lavrov on the upcoming Victory Day. The ministers shared the view that it is necessary to strengthen the multilateral system established on the basis of the UN Charter following World War II. They also exchanged views on certain aspects of bilateral relations, including the schedule of upcoming contacts. Unquote.